One of my New Year's resolutions for 2024 was to release a game on Steam. So let's dive into the story of that game and how it all went. It all started as a game jam project for the Giddo Wild Jam 64. And we ended up placing 39 out of 113. This was my second ever completed game jam and I did it with two others. The theme for the jam was a mission and the only mission I had was glowing rocks, so maybe not the best theme interpretation. And this was about a week-long project. I think we did pretty good. This is playable in the browser and you can also download it to get some higher graphics. And if you click on more information, you see that this was actually published in December of 2023 and that was the game jam. And then a little later, Christmas passed and New Year passed, and two of my resolutions that year was to upload one YouTube video a week for a year, and I was very inefficient at the start. So most of January it took up making videos, and then my second resolution for the year was to publish a game to Steam. And I didn't want to start from scratch, so I made a decision to continue working on the game jam game. Statistically, most people don't stick with their resolutions. Maybe it's because they're unclear, like be more healthy, when it should instead be something like eat no candy or work out 3 times per week. And if you've never set a New Year's resolution, I strongly recommend it. And if you have fallen off yours, you don't have to wait till next year, you can start today. So the development didn't actually start again until February. And if I look at the GitHub, we have 988 commits. And if we go back to the oldest ones, we can look at how the game progressed. I will now show the timeline of the development and the achievements under those months and the progress from the start to the end of the development. Here's some of the progress of February for 2024. Some of these didn't make it into the final game, for example the mortar here. And if I run the game, it had the old logo and name and it looked something like this. It has changed a lot since then, and at the start I was thinking about having a level select that said the name of the level and the difficulty in stars, because I was inspired by Mario Wonder, and this was what the menus looked like. And if I play the game, all of these levels I made rough sketches of, and I had to end up remake them later on. But if I click on one of these, and this was the tutorial level, if I exit the level now and go into one of the other levels, let's try this one. It's one of my favorite ones. It looked something like this. Oh, I'm inside of a stone. I think I can come out of it. Okay, something's definitely wrong here, but it didn't look the nicest. Let's see if I can... Oh, it's already at the highest settings and it still looks crap. You can probably see that everything is way too big. Some of these props didn't make it into the game. I'm not sure what's wrong here. It's supposed to be the Giddo skull Easter egg. And yeah, most of these things don't even have collision. And the way I made the levels before was with CSG shapes, so it's very rough and I fell out of the level. And here's the progress of March, and you can already see that the main menu changed quite a lot and the options hasn't changed much. If I hit play, the level select also changed, and if I select the same level again, I think this loading is new and the wave system has started working. And if I press E, I think it's actually working. Yes, and there they come. I can even shoot on the goblins. I for some reason can't see my rifle, so that's something. And the objective that you protect has changed from an orb to a furnace that you can actually interact with. And the game actually ended up looking like this for quite a while. And a lot of the changes actually came in the last few months of the game. This is what the game looked like in April. And the options has been updated. And if I play the game, there's no longer a level select. It's actually a tutorial now. And it's very similar to the one that's actually in the game now. And the shader I was using for the weapons weren't actually visible in the game because that was broken, but they're there and they have new models. And I can also enter night mode. Okay. And that seems to reload the level in night mode. So that's something. And there's a fire here as well. And I think the game still works with the waves. No, you have to repair the furnace fully and then I think you can press E. Oh, you have to build a turret as well. I'll do that and then I can enter the level. Okay. This is the first time I ever check it out in the old things going on here. So that's something wrong with the model, but it hasn't changed that much. There's a new model for the goblins. A lot of the changes that happen in game development, you don't actually see much of them because they're not like visual, but a lot happened in this time. There's still only one goblin type, it seems like, so that should come soon. And after April, there was a hiatus, I think they call it, where I did basically nothing for about 2 or 3 months. And then I started working on the game a little bit. Then I really started working on the game about 4 months after that. So this was August, and here I really started working on the game again, making some progress. And you can see that the main menu has changed once again. During this period, I, for some reason, decided to make the menu a blueprint, so the settings menu has also changed a bit. And if I play the tutorial, the loading screen has also changed a bit, it seems like. And now I can finally see my weapon again. And I spawn over here now. I think that was so I could test the game quicker. Build a cannon to protect the furnace. It's still fairly similar to before, but I can see some obvious improvements that has been made. And the model now looks a lot better. For some reason, when I fire, it doesn't shoot in the direction I shoot, so that's something pretty odd. Can't actually kill him for some reason. But the game has obviously improved a lot in this short amount of time. So this is progress from September. It seems like the project has started using plugins now to no longer use the CSG boxes for the environment. One glaring issue you probably see about the game is that the gameplay wasn't even ready before work on the graphics and music and everything started. So the biggest problem with this game was that before the game was even finished, like in the mechanics and like how the game would work, development started like. So that's probably something I would do differently today, to have a well-functioning prototype in the gameplay, not in the other way around. I think it's very common for people to get bored about the game because it looks bad and then makes models for the game or assets. But that's a total waste of time because I had to redo everything like twice or 3 times or something. But I learned a lot about it, so that's positive. And now if I run the game again, this was in September, and the loading screen has changed and the logo has also changed, I think. A brand new main menu. I'm really proud of this idea because I've never seen it be done in a game before. And I should really trademark this kind of menu because a lot of people really thought it was smart and smooth the way it works. So let's just check out the options first. So they have changed a little bit and they're fairly similar to what will actually be in the game later. I think this was near the demo of the game, if not actually the demo for the game. And when I pressed play there, it just played straight into it. But I can now shoot in the direction I want to. The grass has also changed, trees and everything. It does look a lot better, but it also looks very oversaturated and very dark on some parts. And for some reason the tutorial text has stopped showing, but I can still start the game and kill the goblins. I'm pretty sure the tank goblins have been added, maybe not. Yeah, they have. And there's the tank goblin and the regular ones. And yeah, the health bars has also been updated, so they're looking pretty nice. And this was 7 months ago, so in October, this was around when the first demo for the Steam NextFest was happening. And I actually had Bite Me Games play the game and give me a lot of feedback that I implemented, and it made the game a lot better. And I'm very grateful for them trying out the game and giving me the feedback, because I treated the NextFest like a playtest. So they were actually the first people to play the game for me and give live feedback.
Dev is in chat? Really?
Camera for in controls, yes. Yeah, Cow Games is in chat.
Oh yeah, there he is, Crow Games. Well, congratulations, you have
Oh wow, what a smooth transition to gameplay. I do like that.
you have a pretty looking menu. And you did a good transition. Ooh, I saw it.
Yeah, I think it was the first time shooting.
If I play the game here, it's looking a lot like the final game. It even has the new loading screen with showing the percentage for the loading. What else is new? Okay, not much has changed now. If I hit play, press jump to get to the logs. So the tutorial has definitely improved, and this was actually after the demo, apparently, slightly after, since I improved the tutorial. The enemies seem to have damage numbers now, I don't think they had before. And then we have a victory, and I think it can even return to the hub. And we have loading tips. I think those were removed as the loading was pretty quick. This actually hasn't changed barely anything. I think that's maybe a good thing, that I came up with a fairly good design in the start. One thing I know has changed is the roof color, but the grass is still dark at the bottom, and it's not quite up to my standard quite yet. The way I fixed that was making the bottom not as dark. You probably see that there's a lot of levels, and I haven't showcased all of them, but during all of this time I was updating over 9 levels, and at this point you can really see that the game has improved a lot. So this is 6 months ago in November. This is actually the month the game released, so this is the Steam version that came out in November there. The game was essentially finished at this point, so this is actually the final game. I did work on a update for the game that added a level and also fixed some minor bugs, but overall the game should be finished at this point, and you can see how it looks right here. So the grass is blending into the ground a lot better. Still no interactions. The game is looking and feeling a lot better. I think this might be new, but the furnace actually turns off and on when it's damaged. At this point, how it looks, I'm actually very proud of how it looks and plays. By this time I also added a new building to the game, and that's the bomb. There was a suggestion from Bite Me Games, and they said that having 2 buildings wasn't enough for a tower defense game, and I really liked the idea of the bomb, and that was really quick and easy to implement, so I'm happy about that. This is basically the finished game. There's some smaller changes, like you can see the health symbol isn't that nicely aligned with the text on these things, and some minor things. And in January I also worked on another build, which is the latest build here then, and the game didn't change much, but there's some minor bug fixes, like the HUD elements didn't show correctly, and then also changed the symbols, as you will see now. So this was in about January of actually the following year, in 2025. Barely anything has changed. You can now interact with things, so you can collect the chest, get some gold, eat the mushrooms. That's really satisfying to do actually. So that's one thing I've learned from making games, that you want to be able to interact with as much as possible. You can now see that the symbols are emojis, and so are the HUD elements. And yeah, that's about it. Show you the new level that was also added. It was an Easter egg level. So if I head over here, there's all the levels, and back here there's a secret level, and it's actually a lot harder than all the other levels. I can barely beat it when I'm playing on the hard mode for night, and it's on very hard plus. I don't think anyone except me can actually beat this level, because to beat it on the hard mode you have to kind of cheese the game, placing turrets where they can't be reached, and I think it was a really fun project to work on. I kind of miss it a little bit. Yeah, I'm really proud of this game, and if I exit the level and return to the hub, I can show the basic level again. Verdant Ruins, here it is, looking really nice. Upgrade the furnace. Oh yeah, I added shake to things, I forgot to tell about that. So now when you interact, like upgrade, something shakes. When you shoot at it, it also shakes. I think that was a really nice effect. And when you collect things, I think they also shake, and they shrink and go and collect the chest here, repair the cannon, and it shakes a little bit. Like, who doesn't like shake, right? Now we have the bomb enemy. And this is actually the current game as it is. So if you were to try it out on Steam right now, it would be this build. And you're likely a developer like me, and you might be interested in the source code for this game, where you can check out everything about the game, just like I've done in this video. And you can do so on my Ko-Fi, where you can purchase the source code for the project. And let's end with talking about the sales. I know they usually show this in videos about games, and if I set it to a custom time from when the Steam page got up to the end of 2024, it had made a total of $61 and 3 of those came from the soundtrack and 58 from the game. And it had gotten 900 wishlist, and most of the sales came from America, United States of America. And they also have a really nice heat map to show where most of the sales came from. 2 sales from Russia and 8 from America and 2 from Canada, and apparently 3 from Sweden. If I click on the detailed view for the wishlist, I can see that most wishlist came from a Windows PC, and the conversion rate is 1%, and this is very much below the average, as it even tells me here. Apparently 15% is the average. And you can see on daily wishlist actions, it's from nowhere spikes to a really good number. This was about 1 week before the release. In 1 day, it got 295 reviews. I think that's because Steam pushes the game before release as upcoming. And then in the following days, it also got pretty good numbers, 85 and 55. And here's a nicer chart that shows the growth over time. So in January, the Steam page went live. It gathered a couple wishlists, not much. And a week before release it had 200 wishlists, and it spiked up to around 900 to 1,000. And then it's been dropping off slightly after that since the deletions. So what did I learn about this? You can see that the game made $61 in 2024, and it's continued to make a little bit. It's up to 80 now and 69 after the fees. Honestly, for this game, if I look at store page, I made a pretty good store page. What I would change if I made it now is to make better capsule art that shows more about the game. Maybe a big cannon or a goblin on the side here, and not the name of the game showing fully over the thing. I also, before release, changed the name for the game from Forge Front to just Forge, because in my mind I thought it's gonna show up easier in the search, but when you search for Forge it doesn't even show up, and you have to search for it manually for it to show up. And an even funnier thing is if you search for it in the browser, you will just get pictures of frogs. So if you search for Forg, you will get a bunch of pictures for frogs, and then one for the game. If I were to do it again, I would probably add a TD at the end. I think that could help with the naming. Yeah, it's not very searchable, and I also didn't do like any marketing except for Discord. And I didn't even make a real trailer for the game. Not much to share about it, but the Steam page looks pretty good. I'm proud of that. But I could definitely have made improvements in the marketing for the game. And if I did market it and make better art for the capsules, I think the game could have done okay-ish. But it's not a very marketable game, as there aren't many games similar to it. And if you scroll down, for example, more like this, obviously this is sorted after revenue, so these games are making a lot of money for Steam. This is nothing similar to what my game is, so you can see that similar games to mine aren't actually making that much money, and most people would probably see this as a big failure. And financially, yes, but since it hasn't even recouped the cost to make a Steam page, since that's $100, and for the time it took, it was definitely not worth it. But in the amount of stuff I learned from the game, it was definitely worth it, because I learned so much, and it's gonna help me so much in the future for making more games. And I honestly just wanna thank my collaborators that worked on the game since the game jam until the end, Crabite and Susulos, for helping out with programming and music. I also thought about not making this, since it's quite a bit later than when the game released. I felt like I should document it. Thanks for watching, and shout out to my Ko-Fi members. For source code, custom videos or coaching, check out my Ko-Fi, and I'll see you in the next one.
Apparently I'm in the credits. Special thanks. Hey, look, it's me. That's cool. Garbage is here. Lucky. All the greats. I don't deserve to be alongside those guys, but that's cool. That's awesome. Thank you. Okay. Let's give it a go.